Hi, I'm Mike Schnee.
And I'm Steve Schnee. And this is That's What Schnee Said.
I think it's time we knocked it right in the head. That's what Schnee said. Not recorded in front of a live audience.
Back then, we also saw frogs, which still, when you see that ad with that hand sticking out of the frog, you're thinking it's like a giant frog eating people, and it's just like an environmental movie, you know.
Do we know Ray Milland before that, or was that the first one, or was it the thing with two heads?
We must have known Ray Milland because I remember going to it, and maybe not because of Ray Milland, but we knew Ray Milland, I think, on and off through stuff, but just
my memory is only through Frogs and Thing with Two Heads, not knowing he was a famous actor before.
Yeah, but see, that's a weird thing about a lot of these movies. We knew Shelley Winters, we knew Red Buttons, we knew Ray Milland, we knew all these people in the 70s, early to mid 70s, because they were in Roddy McDowall. They were in practically every movie that we saw, just a mixture of all these different people. Yet these were people that were has-beens. Yet they were still, that was a great thing about Hollywood in the 70s, is they were still giving these people opportunities, and they were making big movies. I mean, look at Poseidon Adventure. Gene Hackman was a big actor.
He won the Oscar for French Connection while he was making that movie.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah,
But he was a huge actor. I think Ernest Borgnine was past his sell-by date, although he was still making tons of movies. I mean, he was in Willard and all this stuff, but he was not a name on the top of the marquee.
But that's another name that we knew that we had no idea they had a big career before them.
Yeah, I mean, it was years later. I mean, maybe like the late 70s, before I found out that like Roddy McDowall was like, star of My Friend Flicka in what, the late 50s or something.
Oh yeah.
See, I think that's why Tarantino does a lot of his things where he brings these people back from the past, like the Robert Forsters.
Quentin.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not Quentin from Dark Shadows.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that he brings these actors and actresses back. Pam Grier, like I said, Robert Forster, David Carradine as well. He thinks of these people as still as viable to him as artists, but they're just not names on the marquee. They're just not names that have ever brought people into the theater.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe in the 50s, Shelley Winters' name might.
She won.
Oh, that's right, she did. Yeah, that's right, she did. Okay. She did. Okay.
And she was nominated for Poseidon Adventure. Nanny! Oh, she bugged me.
Yes. Yeah. Her character's death was the only one I didn't go, oh. Then Stella Stevens in Poseidon Adventure. Hello.
Well, we saw her in other things subsequent to that, like a movie called Arnie or Arnold, where she had like almost, well, we were the age. She had like a sort of a nude scene.
Yeah.
Taking a shower. Yeah. All right.
Right.
Yeah.
What's in your drink? But we saw a lot of movies when we were growing up. I mean, we probably saw more movies when I was 10 years old than I've seen, or I'm sorry, at the theater. Than I've seen probably in the last 10 years, just in between the age of like 10 and 11. I just don't go to the movies that much anymore. And you hate Marvel movies.
I don't hate them. I just don't. I mean, it's like a Twinkie, it's okay.
How many have you seen?
Well, I stopped when they said, you got to see the Avengers. You got to see the Avengers. And we watched it and it was like, But I have Disney Plus, and then we've got all those movies at our fingertips.
There's still a few Pixar movies.
Oh,
No, I've seen all the Pixar movies. It's the Pixar shorts and the things that are like maybe were played on TV as like 15-minute things. Like there's a couple of Toy Story things, but I've seen, I think, every Pixar movie.
I've almost seen them all. I've seen almost all of them. I've almost seen almost all of them.
Were you still going to the movies a lot, or did you?
No, once or twice a year. once or twice
Okay.
a year.
Yeah, usually when we went to the theater, it was probably to see a Marvel movie. Avengers Endgame is actually now my third favorite movie. I've seen that movie like 6 times. So Jaws, Bonnie and Clyde, Avengers Endgame, Poseidon Adventure. I mean, but at the same time, it's like I say Avengers Endgame, but when I say Bonnie and Clyde, Jaws, Poseidon Adventure, and some of those movies, those are kind of a cluster. So those will probably always be number one. And
Is
then,
Memento's not in there?
no, I've never seen Memento. As you can tell, I'm talking about Avengers Endgame. You kind of don't have to have intelligence to see those movies. You just have to have an open mind and just want to go have fun. With Memento and a lot of the Christopher Nolan movies and even the Paul Thomas Anderson, or is it Thomas?
Thank
Paul?
you. Yeah, P.T. Anderson, my boy.
Yeah, those are the kind of movies that you have to have brain cells, and I don't have brain cells for that stuff. You have to be smart and
Quit flattering me.
I go to the movies for escapism, not to think.
That's dad. That's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go to the movies, not to blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Poseidon Adventure was the beginning of the disaster movie, wasn't it?
I think so.
And then Towering Inferno, Earthquake.
Shampoo was one of them.
And then around this same time, Marjoe Gortner all of a sudden started appearing in movies, and he was in all those like Food of the Gods. What was the other guy that was in those movies a lot? Doug McClure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Doug McClure was in tons of those movies. There was Doug McClure, Bradford Dillman. I brought up Bradford Dillman to somebody recently, and they're going, Bradford Dillman? Who's that? So I had to find a picture on my phone. I went and I did a search on Google or whatever. I don't walk around with Bradford Dillman pictures saved on my phone. Then they were like, oh, I remember that guy. But, it was
Yeah.
Marjorie Gorder, Bradford Dillman, Doug McClure. So you knew that if you saw those names in the movies, what kind of movie it was going to be. It's probably not going to be a very good movie.
But they'd be fun to watch these days.
Oh, no. They were fun to watch then. No, there was a lot of those 70s people that Well, that's it for this episode of That's What Schnee Said.
I think it's time we knocked it right in the head. That's what Schnee said. Not recorded in front of a live audience.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.